Batting fifth and Nico Nitzi. Batting sixth for the Collegians, playing left field, number 26, Brady Mitchell. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 10, Mark Goulart. Batting eighth and playing first base, number 8, Gage Yoso.
The Boulder Collegians enter tonight hot off a playoff walk-off from local kid Addison Kosh. But tonight in round 2 of the dance, they face the vaunted Colorado Black Bears. The Scary Grizzlies went a wild 22-2 in RMBL play and are coming off an 8-0 win over the Pirates. The Collegians beat everyone in RMBL play this year. That is, except for these Black Bears. Collegians, Black Bears, round 2 of RMBL playoff action. Right here, next. But first, I caught up with tonight's starter, Nathaniel Bresner Mendoza. Downstairs game, they call you the businessman, second round of the playoffs. How are you going to take care of business tonight?
I just do what I always do and throw strikes and try to keep them off balance, and we'll see how it goes.
Thursday, great win for the team, good comeback win, extra innings affair. You know, you have such dramatics. Do you feel like there's some momentum built up with you guys right now?
Yeah, I mean, it always helps to come out and win the first game and just keep on riding that into the next couple games.
We saw this Black Bears team a couple times throughout the year. Only team you guys have not beaten this year thus far in RMBL action, and a team that's caused every team in the league fits. They're the 1 seed. How tough is this team for you guys to face? What makes them so good?
Yeah, I mean, they just play really nice baseball, really solid all around. Most of our games are close games with them, so they could easily turn the other way at any time. But they're just a solid team.
Back upstairs. Patrick, down here in Parker, Colorado. I'm Jake Shapiro. He's my partner, Patrick Lyons. We are expecting quite the game tonight, and like I said, this is a team the Collegians have not beat. They've beaten everyone but this team, and we've seen this team a couple times. They're legit.
They took 2 games straight in June 14th against the Collegians, beat them pretty handily. Collegians were only able to score 2 runs in each of those games, but they came back recently, just last week, and they were able to fare a little bit better. They did lose a 2-1 decision, so they have played better than this Black Bears team, but Denver certainly has the Collegians' numbers going into tonight's game.
And that game last week was a game in which we've seen a problem that is plagued left on base, a couple running miscues on the base paths, as well as double plays. All seem to go the Black Bears' favor in that game. So maybe a little bit luck aids the Collegians to a victory tonight, I think, is the thought process.
And I think being on a neutral turf like this, with it being AstroTurf, it's going to be a bit of a challenge for both teams to get their feet under them. No pun intended. We'll hear a little bit about that from Brady Mitchell, the outfielder. But certainly a fair game. Both pitchers have not face their opponent. We're going to see Andrew Shaw, the left-hander, on the hill for the Black Bears, along with the businessman, Nathaniel Bresner Mendoza, getting the start for Boulder.
Well, you just heard from Nathaniel Bresner Mendoza, and we're going to hear from Brady Mitchell, who my partner Patrick Lyons caught up with moments ago.
Patrick Lyons here with Brady Mitchell, left fielder, batting 6th in tonight's lineup against the Denver Black Bears. Brady, there's a lefty on the hill today. Talk a little bit about what your approach is with a left-hander on the hill. And have there been any issues with playing on a...
Wear metal cleats, so like we can't wear metal here, so...
One of the things I've noticed is it's harder to get a good lead on first base. Any other challenges with that?
So I mean, either way, you need a shorter...
You played around the outfield for the Collegians. What do you think your best position is?
They're the corners, but probably left field since it's what I mainly play. So yeah.
In the fall.
I'm excited to meet new people.
Well, that interview went a little bit long, Patrick, but you heard from Brady Mitchell, and we're ready for first pitch here on the Collegians YouTube channel. Patrick, my Nathaniel Bresner Mendoza on the mound for round 2 of RMBL playoff action. The righty kicks and deals out of the windup. First pitch misses low to catcher Mark Goulart. Around the infield for the Collegians tonight, you've got Gabe Gioso at first, Brett Erickson at second, Addison Kosh at short, Bryce Bullock at third. Bresner Mendoza on 1-0. That pitch, a fastball that reaches the outer half. Into the outfield, Brady. And in right field, it's Marcus Altman. Collegians won on Thursday, which advanced them to this game. Bresner Mendoza's 1-1 fastball spat foul off the bat of the left fielder Evan Maker. And in that contest on Thursday, it was a walk-off win in the 10th inning, a game in which the Collegians led 4-0, blew that lead, and it went 4-4, and Addison Kosh walked it off in the dirt. Bresner Mendoza wears number 13. Patrick before the game, very deliberate in his wine, kicks and deals. 2.
Bresner Mendoza getting himself off on the right foot here with the first out here in the ball game against the Black Bears. This will be his first opportunity facing this squad. When they had played early in the season, he was help a closer, but he's proven himself as a very efficient starter here in the second half.
First pitch has the dugout and hoots and hollers as it gets Walsh to swing and miss on a pitch that was pretty low. Bresner Mendoza's got good off-speed stuff and a mid to average 80s fastball. That's a fastball, dots the knees, 0-2. Bresner his 0-2 on Walsh. Two-seam fastball blocked by Goulart in the dirt.
And this combination of Bresner Mendoza and Goulart, will see a lot more of each other this year. As we know, Goulart goes to St. Mary's College, and Bresner Mendoza will be going to the University of Portland this spring.
1-2. Ooh, had the umpire flinching behind the plate. Bresner Mendoza started walking to first around the mound, thought he had that strikeout, but did not. It's 2-2.
Home plate umpire Cameron did not think that caught enough of the plate.
Payoff pitch there at 2-2, and Bresner Mendoza puts it in the dirt, and now the count runs full. As you mentioned, Patrick, both these guys going to be WCC players next year, West Coast Conference guys, Portland and St. Mary's College. Bresner Mendoza transferring there in just a few weeks. 3-2 pitch. Fastball, strike 3 swinging. Walsh misses on the two-seam fastball, and it's back-to-back Ks for the Collegians to start off this.
Up 2 down for Bresner Mendoza, who is learning very quickly here that his 2-strike approach, he's got to be a little bit careful because these Black Bears are not going to swing at anything outside of the zone. So he's going to want to try to be a little bit more any of his pitches the first time through the order.
Bresner Mendoza looking in. Baseman Warner at the plate. Bresner Mendoza, first pitch curveball, drops right.
He's effective tonight.
0-1 two-seam fastball. Ooh, just missed it. That for the Collegian hitters, but as long as it stays consistent, as we always say, Patrick, as umps ourselves. But Bresner Mendoza doing a good job dotting around the plate. 1-1 pitch here, two-seam. We're at double aim just before 32% humidity, winds out of the southwest at 11 miles an hour, gusting up to 20. 1-2 from again, and yes, he looks really good on the mound, but is running up the pitch count a little bit with these last 2 batters as he's gone from 0-2 now to 2-2 here, and the at-bat to Walsh, he went to 3-2. Even at 2s, Bresner Mendoza with his glove over his face gets the sign into the wind. His pitch, curveball, strike 3. Bresner Mendoza strikes out the side in the first for the Collegians. To the home half we go. Scoreless after the top half.
First inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. No score for the Black Bears in the top half with this. Collegians coming to bat. Setting the defense for the Colorado Black Bears at first base.
Like that.
And the shortstop is Drew Duncan. Around the outfield and left is Evan Maker. Center fielder Thomas Craig. And over and right, Austin Lynch. Battery for the Bears, the catcher, number 21, Josiah Scott. And on the mound, number 3, Andrew Shaw.
Lefties, do you know? Not really. None of them really stand out. You ready? Yeah.
Back for the bottom half of the first inning, Collegians and Black Bears tied at 0 after a 1-2-3 inning by Bresner Mendoza, all via the K. Let's take a look at the Collegians lineup, and for that, we're going to get over to Patrick Lyons for the Collegians lineup.
Leading off for the Collegians will be their second baseman, Brett Erickson. Batting second after getting the day off on Thursday is their third baseman out of UNLV, Bryce Bullock. Hitting third is the DH, Brett Bonar. The shortstop, Addison Kosh, will be hitting cleanup. The fifth hitter is Nico Nincy, the center fielder. Batting sixth is Brady Mitchell, the left fielder. Mark Goulart, the catcher, is hitting seventh. The eighth hitter is Gabe Gioso, playing first base. And rounding out the Boulder Collegians lineup today is right fielder Marcus Altman.
And what a day it was for Brett Erickson on Thursday. He had a 3-hit ball game with a home run and 2 RBI. Was talking to him after the game. He said, "You didn't know I had that?" I'm like, "Of course I didn't know you had that." Brett comes in at about 5'6". First pitch from the pitcher Andrew Shaw, curveball that drops in for a strike. So we'll see if Brett has that same kind of pop, but Eddie Toledo running him right back out in that leadoff spot. Another curveball there. Erickson can't reach the outer half. He's down 0-2. And we were texted there in between the inning break, why are the Collegians at home? It's because they won the coin toss, even though the Black Bears are the higher seed. Two-seam fastball danced out of play. So the Black Bears are seed number 1. Collegians are at the 4 seed in this tournament, but Shaw into the wind. Curveball on the outer half. Bounced over to the pitcher. This is going to be a tough play for Shaw.
Now, if the Collegians should win this game, they will play tomorrow at 3:30 right here again at Double Angel Field. They will go against the Colorado Sox, who were able to defeat the Laramie Colts via a 10-run rule earlier in the previous game. If they should lose, they'll actually come back tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m.
Guys don't want to be here. Okay, first pitch on Bullock inside. It's a ball. Second pitch there misses inside as well. A ball. Bryce did not play Thursday. Rarely have seen that. He's been a regular in the Collegians order all summer. The soon-to-be sophomore out of UNLV. Fastball there, called a strike on the outer half against Bullock from Bryce, a power-hitting pole hitter. 2-1. Ooh, off-speed pitch, and that catches the outside. Really like the curveball command on the outer half from Shaw thus far. Great curveball command to the arm. Curveball there on the outer half. As I said, strike 3. Bullock goes down swinging.
Good at-bats the first 2 go-rounds by Erickson and a chance to see Andrew Shaw. In the previous games, Nick Sloan actually twirled 2 really nice gems, going 6 and 7 innings respectively in those games. Sean Imes, another righty, through the third game back in June.
First Bonar steps out of the box, try to destroy his rhythm. 1-0. And I like this. Shaw's throwing a lot of curveballs. Yeah, it's left on left, but it's the inner half. Brett doesn't have any problem hitting left on left, and it's right into his happy zone, this curveball plane, so we'll see. 1-1 with 2 outs, scoreless game. Fastball high and fouled off down the third base line.
Bonar can spray it to all fields, and we're probably going to see that a lot from some right-handed batters. That was one thing Brady Mitchell was able to tell me before the game, and you're absolutely right. If that curveball comes into zone, Bonar's going downtown.
1-2 curveball in the dirt. Bonar swings at it back to the back. No play for the catcher, Josiah Scott. So score that a K. Wild pitch. moving Brett Bonar to the plate. No 1-2-3 inning there for Andrew Shaw, who tried to match Bresner Mendoza with a couple Ks in the first. That brings up Brady Mitchell, his teammate Addison Kosh. Did that all summer. Brady Mitchell and Addison Kosh, but Addison Kosh bats from the right. The shortstop, Jeff Sear of the Rough Riders, first pitch there, a ball. Not the best hit of Addison Kosh's career, but it got the job done. Kosh made his home just a few blocks away from here growing up. 1-0 pitch, curveball, spat on down the left field line. If it's fair, it's extra bases. It is just foul. Collegian fans and dugouts disagree with the call, but it looked good from our angle. I think they're more in dismay over the fact that it would have scored Brett Bonar from first on what was about to be an RBI double with 2 outs in the first.
Absolutely smoked that one down the line. It was hard to get a good view from where we were at. Home plate umpire Cameron, of course, deemed it to be foul, which is a shame because that does erase one off the board, and Bonar their base runner and their opportunity at scoring a run has been erased.
So we'll see Addison Kosh to the plate when we come back. It's a 1-2-3 inning after all for the Black Bears on the pickoff attempt. So we head to the top of the second. Score.
This is the first time we were in a close game. Patrick's out like puffy and puffy like this. Oh, I was pumped. It was great. I was too, but you have to hide it. Gooley! Come on, Gooley! You got it, baby. Come on, Mark. Get it going, Henry!
After a 1-2-3 first, Nathaniel Bresner Mendoza back out for his second inning of work. He's got 4, 5, and 6. Action counting their playoff win in round 1 last night. Bresner Mendoza first pitch fastball outside on the DH Hossman.
And each time that these two teams faced each other, the Collegians were coming in on a hot stretch. You know, they swept the doubleheader 13-2 and 8-2 respectively. And even last week when we saw them in July 11th, they had a nice 4-game win streak, a 6-2 run.
Smash through the 5-5 hole. That gets by Addison Kosh. Leadoff single there by Hossman. That was a ground ball, but it was absolutely hit on the rails.
Hossman reaches on the leadoff single. Bringing to the plate center fielder, number 6, Thomas Craig.
So we'll see how Bresner Mendoza works out of the stretch for the first time here in the second inning. No problem yet for him. 3 straight Ks in the first. That was the first hit ball. Fastball outside. Goulart has trouble handling that, and it's a wild pitch that moves Hossman up to second base. That's one Goulart's going to want back, although it scored a wild pitch.
And we saw him have a hard time handling those balls while Bresner Mendoza was warming up. Going to cost them moving the runner up into scoring position.
1-0. Fastball fouled straight back. Craig was on it, the center fielder Thomas Craig, but just under it. Bresner Mendoza comes set, checks second. Nobody out there covering. 1-1 pitch. Smashed into left field. This is high. This is far. This is gone. Two-run home run. Thomas Craig gets the Black Bears on the board first here in the second inning. 2-0, they lead.
Well done, Bears!
Right over the heart of the plate on the outer half. Craig got the opportunity to extend his arms and drop the bat head and sent it over the Kind Bar advertisement in left field. The dimensions of this field, 312 to the line, 330 to left center. That ball was hit, or I'm sorry, 360 to left center. That ball was hit probably 355 feet. Second pitch, a fastball that dots the strike zone as well. Bresner Mendoza ahead 0-2 with no outs here in the second inning. 2-0 the score. Wind up the pitch. Fastball misses away. So what a change in effort there after the first inning. 1-2-3 with 3 straight Ks. Bresner Mendoza gives up a 2-run shot after a leadoff single. 1-2 pitch. Fastball misses away.
That's the one thing about this Black Bear team is that they are incredibly deep. We're seeing some new starters here in the ball game like Lynch, Grossman, and Scott, who haven't gotten a lot of playing time against these Collegians.
Good pitch in the dirt. It's strikeout number 4 for Bresner Mendoza, and Goulart takes care of it over to Gioso at first for out number 1. Sorry, Patrick, go ahead.
Their depth has really been that key, and their starting lineup or the guys they have down on their bench, that's been the big values that they've had. And here they got a nice 2-0 lead, and you know, if they do get in any trouble, they do have depth on their bench if they need to go there for some extra assistance.
Bresner Mendoza misses there. 1-0. Curveball hit over to the second baseman, Brett Erickson. Tough hop, fields it about air high, and takes care of it over to first base for the first out of any kind. Not a strikeout for the Collegians thus far. Really tough play for Erickson considering the grass at Scott Carpenter Park compared to here.
Kosh having a hard time getting seeing Shaw pick off a runner.
No outs here in the second. Looked like it was coming right for my chest. Glad it wasn't.
In fact, it looked like Shaw was about to throw over to first base. He's very deliberate in the way that he comes home, kind of hangs his leg over there, almost looks as if he's leaning towards first base before eventually coming home.
3-2 to Nitze. Curveball straight up the elevator. Tough to hit, but Nitze might want that back. Pop out over to the second baseman, Brandon Warner, and 1 out here in the second. 2-0 the score. Addison Kosh, leadoff single on the first pitch of the inning, still out there at first. I know we've always got some technical difficulties when we're on the road, so just deal with us and we'll do our best. He's Patrick Lyons. I'm Jake Shapiro. Didn't miss much when we were gone, just the single by Addison Kosh and a couple ground outs to end the top half of the inning. Erickson did the job, no problem. 2-0. 2 hits for the Black Bears, both in the top half of the second. 1 hit for the Collegians right here in the bottom half of the second. First pitch.
That against lefties, his modus operandi is to try to get a ball middle away and go opposite field on that. Certainly with the way Shaw has been throwing those curveballs on the outer portion of the plate, he's going to have a good time doing that.
0-1 misses away. Modus operandi.
M.O.
Are you just trying to, you said before the game, I think this summer you've helped your vocabulary being around me, which was a very bold statement by you. 1-1 pitch and, fastball just missed away. Bold statement to begin with, but now you're just trying to add to my vocabulary. Now you're making a deliberate attempt.
I could have just said M.O., but not a lot of people know that M.O. is an acronym for modus operandi.
Guess people didn't know that. 2-1 pitch, smashed right back up the middle, makes Shaw dance, and it's another single with 1 out. That pushes Kosh to second base. I've said it before, but whenever I see a pitch hit right there back at the mound like that, I get the scene out of Back to the Future. His feet and making him dance.
Was that in Back to the Future 3?
I believe so.
The Western one. I don't think anyone was firing a pistol at him in versions 1 and 2.
It was a futuristic pistol.
And he probably did a moonwalk after, if my memory doesn't escape me, because he seemed to keep going back in time and kind of rewriting history as if he wrote.
Strike, bid spot for Mark Goulart. 2 runners on base, 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Andrew Shaw, the pitcher. Shaw comes set, checks the runner at second, kicks, deals, curveball. Goulart skies it over to the right side. Right fielder Lynch comes in and makes the catch. Thought for a second that may get down, hung up in the air on the tail just long enough for the right fielder to catch up to it, unfortunately for the Collegians.
I thought the same thing. I thought the ball was going to dink in there, but right fielder Austin Lynch playing a little bit more shallow, not thinking maybe some of these Collegian hitters have a lot of power going the opposite way. Not necessarily the case, but in that particular at-bat, it absolutely was, and it could have even saved the Black Bears a run.
Curveball misses low. The first pitch to the first baseman, Gabe Gioso, Mark Goulart's teammate there at St. Mary's. Gioso's come on strong here in the second half for the Collegians, swinging a pretty solid stick. 1-0 from Shaw. Curveball, just gets past. Healthy swinging. Gabe Gioso.
And we Collegians, we know the ones at the bottom are talented as and certainly Gioso in a spot like this, and anyone at the bottom of the lineup, they're going to need to drive in those runners with men on base.
1-1 from Shaw. Gioso grounds this over to the left side. Only play for it is Jeremy Katz, the third base coach, which isn't much of a play because the ball wouldn't be in play if the third base coach makes a play on it.
And one of the stories in the last game that we saw on Thursday against the Rough Riders was 15 runners left on base by the Collegians. They will not win if they do that again here today.
1-2, Kosh takes off, and Mitchell's in safely. So a ballsy play by Addison Kosh there out at second. You don't see many steals of third base, particularly with 2 outs and 2 strikes. But Kosh swipes third. Don't know how much good that does for you. But now it stresses Shaw a bit as it's first and third and maybe leaves the decision for the catcher, Josiah Scott, if the speedy Mitchell takes off. Left-hander kicks and deals 2-2 pitches in the dirt. And now Mitchell will take off from first with this pitch being a full count.
Great wherewithal by Scott trying to throw back at third base as he realized Kosh had already had third base stolen.
And you mentioned the bottom of the order. They produced great in that game despite the 15 runs, or 15. Gioso thought he had a walk and said he's walking back to the dugout. Toledo's out to talk to his kid, and it's 2-0 as we head to the top of the third on that questionable strike 3 call.
I'm in on the broadcast, brother. Not shocked you're an Eagles fan. Not shocked you're an Eagles fan.
For the Collegians in the second inning. No runs scored on 2 hits. There were no errors. 2 runners left. 2-0.
I'm here to win. I'm here to win.
Black Bears lead as we head to the top of the
So you're playing
third.
shortstop tonight, right?
Coming up to
Don't
the
worry,
Black
brother.
Bears, Scott.
All I
9
do is
innings,
talk.
you
I
better
don't
start talking.
All I do is talk. I can talk. I can talk all day.
Oh my gosh. You're a talker.
Leading off to the Colorado Black Bears, catcher number 21, Josiah Scott.
Josiah Scott, the right-hand third inning, 2 hits on each run for the Collegians. Bresner Mendoza's first pitch, a fastball in the dirt. Having better success with the curveball tonight. Fastball that time to see the outside part of the plate.
He certainly missed against the center fielder.
2-seam fastball. His best right there when he's got that 2-seam fastball on the outer half like that, locating 2 in a row there. 1-2 pitch, and on the inner half that time couldn't be caught by Goulart and deemed a ball behind the plate. Bresner Mendoza already with 4 in a row. Hossman had the single, came around to score because Craig hit one over the fence at an absolute shot at that.
And that's going to be the area where Bresner Mendoza is going to need to have to work hardest. It's not about his balls. He doesn't walk a lot of guys, but it's leaving it out over the middle part of the plate, which absolutely will get hammered against the top team in the Rocky Mountain Baseball League this summer.
Fastball fouled off Scott's leg. Scott, one of the bigger players on either of these teams, standing in about 6'3", carries some weight with him too. Two-seam fastball, strikeout number 5. Scott swung through it, all coming via the swinging variety. It's all been that two-seam fastball. That's been his strikeout pitch thus far. Problem for him is he's been inconsistent in keeping 2 pitches going throughout the early stages of this game. Stepping in is Evan Maker, struck out his first time, the right-handed hitting left fielder. First pitch there, bunt attempt, couldn't take it back as he was all the way up on the drag, and with Bryce Bullock playing back, smart play, but couldn't get the ball down onto the bat. Bullock now comes in about halfway at third base, everyone else playing straight up. 0-1 with 1 out. Fastball in on the hand. Fouled away. And now this sun is dipping lower in the sky, and as it dips lower in the sky, it's becoming redder and redder. Don't know if there's any wildfires in the area. Generally only see this kind of sun when there's wildfires in the area, right, Patrick?
You got me. You know, it's going on about 5 years here in Colorado. Originally from New Jersey, don't see too many forest fires out there, but I do know that is a thing that can occur from time to time.
Pitch misses inside as that two-seam fastball / sinker maybe had a little bit too much run to it.
And Goulart really is going to have to make sure he keeps that ball in front of him. He seems to be taking off a pitch from time to time, and he's going to have to really get control of that.
This one shot into right field. On a line, Altman cuts it off. It's a single, but Bresner Mendoza will want that back with the 2-strike count. Couldn't locate the pitch where he wanted it, left it too far up, and
to right field, looking for that fastball, that two-seamer, right on the outside portion of the plate. He got it and was able to make nice work of it with 1 out here. Zach Walsh, who also struck out in his first at-bat, may look to do the same.
Good leadoff first pitch, a curveball, misses away. Bresner Mendoza leaving that pitch up tonight thus far. Seen some good pitching performances here at Double Angel Field from the Collegians. 1-0 from Bresner Mendoza. It's shot into left field just. And if that gotten down, it was extra bases and potentially a run. Earlier this year, Dawson Pomeroy dealt a complete game 1-hit shutout of the Game Day Saints with 15 strikeouts on this field. Will Massa was very solid last night or Thursday night, it felt like yesterday, for the Collegians. Those walk-off wins in the playoffs, they feel just like yesterday no matter how much time passes by. 1-1 rather, from Bresner Mendoza. Fastball misses away. And no walks yet for Bresner Mendoza, despite how many balls he's thrown. Say about 50%, at least 50% of the pitches he's thrown have been balls. 2-1 from NBM. Curveball misses high, and I may have jinxed him. It's 3-1.
The timing seems to be improving here for the Black Bears. Hit best stuff right here to get out of this little jam.
3-1 fastball fouled away. Count runs full at 3-2. Bresner Mendoza hunting for his 6th strikeout. Bresner Mendoza looks in. Full count to Walsh. He comes set, checks the runner at first. Runner takes off. Curveball sky high.
And the interesting thing about these 5 strikeouts for Bresner Mendoza in the early going is that these Black Bears don't typically strike out that much. In the 6 innings that the Collegians pitched against them back on July 11th, there were only 3 Ks marked down by Joe Milano, who definitely has the propensity for striking out guys. Devin Elson only was able to notch 2 himself, so they put the ball in play here, and Bresner Mendoza is looking for the exact opposite of that.
Full count pitch again. Runner takes off again. And back to the screen. It's a walk. So no stolen base for Maker or wild pitch. He advances on the walk, despite taking off with the pitch. And with 1 out, runners on first and second, Walsh and Maker. Maker the lead runner, bringing up the second baseman, Brandon Warner, who also struck out his first time.
Typically, we've seen third baseman Garrett Skillings in this spot here in the 3rd slot in the order. Brandon Warner getting the call, moved up. He's hit well against the Boulder Collegians so far in their 3 games of play thus far.
Bresner Mendoza comes set, checks the runner at second. The pitch to Warner, curveball, misses away. More of a slider there, Patrick. More of a slurve/slider from Bresner Mendoza, as his curveball has started to move more horizontally.
At a previous start was that he likes to set up time through the order, not showing them all of his pitches. So now he's starting to bust out the 3rd and 4th pitches.
Pitch that gets back to the backstop. Don't know what we're going to score that. What do you have it?
I don't believe that ball kicked up any dirt, so that would have to unfortunately be a pass ball.
Pass ball advances both runners up, and Warner's got himself a favorable count at 2-0 with 2 runners in scoring position, and now a moment of angst for the Collegians, already down 2-0. 22-2, and their 3-hole hitter at the plate. Biggest moment, perhaps, of the Collegian season to this point right here in this next few pitches.
The 1 pitch to Thomas Craig was a mistake, home run. That pass ball right there by Mark Goulart could be the 2nd one, and you know what? That might, but obviously a lot more left in this game for their hitters and for their offense to potentially come back.
Infield will seed the run at least up the middle. The corners are in on the grass. Outfield playing normal depth. 2-0 the count. 1 out to the 3-hole hitter Warner. Bresner Mendoza comes set, lifts his leg, delivers a fastball straight into center field, and this is deep enough to score the run. Center fielder Nitze gets under the ball, throws into third base, and Maker comes in to score, and that's just good baseball there from the
And a veteran player like Warner knows when he's ahead in the count like that, 2-0, that of course Bresner Mendoza was going to have to throw a fastball and caught a little too much of the plate there. He was able to easily sky it out into center field.
Nice play from Nitze there, throwing the ball into third, keeping the runner out there at second, although it might not matter much with 2 outs. Hausman at the plate, singled last time, came around to score. Driven into left field. Way back, no doubt about this one. It is gone. 2-run shot for the DHR. Good job, 2-5.
And the number 25, Henry Hausman.
Henry Hausman got all of that ball, and as you said, Patrick, those 2 mistakes might be enough, and not only the mistakes that the Black Bears are taking advantage of, they're making their own opportunities as well.
And with in 18 innings of play against the Black Bears, it's absolutely going to be hard for them to come back from this early 5-0 deficit.
First pitch misses away from Bresner Mendoza on Craig, who hit the home run.
Currently warming up in the Collegians bullpen, and that, of course, has a lot to do with the fact that we're really only talking about a couple mistakes. 2 fastballs left over the middle portion of the plate, which is going to get you every single time. The pass ball by Goulart. But ultimately, there are still going to be at least 1 more game after today, so manager Eddie Toledo does have to be a little bit cautious with his bullpen. And if Bresner Mendoza can't get out of this spot, then you maybe will see a little bit of work in the bullpen, but he's going to get an opportunity to try to get out of this 3rd inning.
He might have to wear it, so to speak. And for the Collegians, it's a double elimination tournament in RMBL play. 3-0 from Bresner Mendoza to Craig. Fastball low, fouled back, swinging away all the way on 3-0. That's what you get to do when you hit a home run in your last at bat. They'll play at 8:30 tomorrow morning if this score does hold, which it's still very early in this 9-inning game in the third inning, but that is the circumstances. It's either 8:30 with a loss or 3:30 with a win, and they'll be facing elimination if they do lose, and it's a lot harder to come back looking at the way this bracket is structured, including the fact that they would have to play a triple header to win the RMBL tournament. That pitch misses low, and it's a walk surrendered by Bresner Mendoza, his first of the night.
Well, as you mentioned, should this score hold up and the Collegians need to be back here for an 8:30 first pitch tomorrow, I do have an inside source that the Kosh family will be allowing all of the players to sleep over at their house so they don't have to worry about making the drive all the way back up to Boulder.
Is that true?
I've already gotten the thumbs up from Mrs. Kosh. Mr. Kosh is on the fence, but I think we know who wears the pants in the family, so we're going to be okay.
I was just going to stay up all night because we're down here in Parker. For those of you who don't know the Boulder area, it's about an hour drive from Boulder without traffic. With traffic, this could be a 1 hour and a half, 2 hour drive depending on the day. Fortunately, we're playing this tournament on the weekend. Patrick even not will probably be late in the night. Bresner Mendoza comes set there against the right fielder Lynch. First pitch smashed into right field. Coming in is Altman. Sounded good off the bat. Altman has to watch it bounce in front of him. Craig moves over from first to third, and Lynch has a single here with 2 outs, and the Black Bears just keep rolling here in the third. O'clock start here. The game probably won't wrap up till around 10. Means the guys won't get back to Boulder till about 11. Some of them live further north of Boulder, so in your beds probably calm down by 11:45. Have to be back here for a first pitch at 8:30 of probably around 7 in the morning, and yeah, so that's leaving your place at 6. That's only about 5 hours of sleep for these guys, and of course, Bresner Mendoza's first pitch over here, grounded over the left side. Nice play by Bryce Bullock. Grabs sky high over to first for the third out. So Bullock finishes what was a nightmare third inning. 3 runs played for the Black Bears on 3 different hits, including a 2-run shot by Henry Hausman, the DH. But if this game continues where it's at, Collegians are going to have to rally up early tomorrow. And, of course, these guys want to hang out with each other. Back for the bottom half of the third. Collegians need to get a rally going.
For the Colorado Black Bears in the top of the third inning. No errors, 2 runners up. The Black Bears lead 5 and 1/2 innings of play.
Mr. Kosh,
Headed to the home
you got room
half
for
of
just
the
2 of
third
us
for
at
the
least?
Collegians.
I just kidding.
Altman,
Good. I just
Erickson,
kidding.
and Bullock. Remember that.
Yeah.
Leading out the home half for third inning for the Boulder Collegians, right fielder, number 22, Marcus Altman.
Back with Patrick Lyons, Jake Shapiro. Marcus Altman strides into the right-handed batter's box, watches a first-pitch ball from the left-hander Andrew Shaw. May have been a strike had Josiah Scott, the catcher, been able to handle it. 5-0 the score in Parker, Colorado. Altman swings through that one. A 3-run top of the third. The early stage of this game. Curveball called strike. Altman didn't see it, and he's behind 1-2.
Black Bears playing already a little bit better than they did against the Colorado Pirates, as they only won 8-0 in that first round game.
We were talking to some of the Going to win that under. Back up the middle. The shortstop, Drew Duncan, tough play across his body. Throw pulls the first baseman, Cade Grossman, off the bag, and it's an RBI, or it's a leadoff as the throw ended up in the Black Bears dugout.
Well, tough spot for Altman there, particularly because, this is just his first at-bat, and he's coming up, and his team's already down 5-0. Black Bears have already gotten an opportunity up at the plate, this just being his first for the Collegians, but puts the ball in play, and, anything can happen once you do that.
Pitches in the dirt, good block behind the plate by Josiah Scott. Altman didn't want to be too aggressive, moving up to third base with no outs, as Collegians are now playing for every out they can already early on in this game. It is a 9-inning affair. The whole that pitch misses low. It's 2-0.
I remember when we were down in Tucson how the Collegians had been winning every game so easily, in that they needed to get punched in the face to see how they responded. And right now they're getting knocked around. Already they're responding a little bit now. 3-0 count.
It's been playing halfway on Erickson. He's the leadoff hitter, so with the 3-0 count, they still even possibly expect a bunt. Erickson will take a walk. First one issued by
pair of
Bryce got pink cleats before the start of this tournament, different ones. I've got my pink cleats up here. I offered them to the guys, but I'm 5'4". The smallest, about 5'7", could, or a size 9.5, 10 men. So no. Big spot for the big swinger facing the left-hander Andrew Shaw. Shaw working out of the stretch, comes set. Bullock showing bunt. Gets it down the first base line, but it is foul. I don't know if I love the call of Bullock bunting here, and you hear the Black Bears manager just talking about we need an out here, and that's great play if you're the Black Bears. Just get an out. You're already up 5-0 here in the third.
I do like the call. It would be nice to get a run on the board here for the Collegians, get the ball rolling, certainly with Bonar up at the plate. A single can drive in 2 runs easily with a sack.
Bullock showing bunt. This popped up down the first base line and foul, thankfully, and out of the reach of Cade Grossman. Unfortunately for Bryce and the boys in blue, they are down in this count 0-2 with no outs and runners on first and second.
And I would not be surprised if Bullock tries to lay down a bunt again. I know 2 strikes. Obviously, you bunt foul with 2 strikes. You are out. But with a third opportunity, he might be able to get it down.
Shaw's 0-2. Fastball, Bullock swings and misses, and Collegians unable to move up the base runner. Second strikeout of the day for Bullock, both coming from the swinging side.
And right now, the 2 spot in the order for the Collegians is a volatile one, as in the past 2 games, in just 8 plate appearances, there have been 6 strikeouts by the man hitting second in the lineup. 4 for Gioso on Thursday, and now 2 here for Bullock in the early going.
Runners on first and second. Grossman plays behind the runner at first. First pitch to downtown Denver, and he saw it all the way but got just under it. Said to us before the pitch, Bonar's going to be swinging for the fences. He was. 0-1, runners on first and second, 1 out. Bonar sees a fastball, hits it down the third baseline. Fair! Bounces over the bag. 1 run's going to score. Trail runners up to third. Bonar stopping at first, and it's an RBI single for Brett Bonar that plates Marcus Altman. Bears manager is out here making a disgrace of the game of baseball. Absolutely berating the home plate umpire. Probably going to cause him, and somehow has not been ejected yet, but yelling very came out of his dugout too, and I don't know about that. Fans riding the umpires as well. Either way, it's an RBI single for Brett Bonar.
Done and drives in Altman from second base. Looked like the ball may have kicked over third base fair, and when it came down on the other side of third base, was in foul territory. But as the ball grounded over the bag, certainly home plate umpire Cameron deemed that it was indeed over the bag and fair.
And let's talk about this. In a playoff game like that, if you're going to allow that type of screaming and yelling, you can very quickly lose the game if you're the umpires. Don't know if I would accept that. Over there on the Black Bears side. First pitch here, curveball. Kosh tried to swing through that one very hard and lifted into right center field, just missed underneath it. Bonar at first, runner at third is Brett Erickson. Game heating up 5-1 the score in the bottom of the third. Shaw's pitch fastball that misses low, blocked in the dirt by Scott.
It should be noted that the importance of this game is that, well, the Black Bears, they already have their ticket punched for Wichita as they were the leaders and the winners in the standings for the Rocky to the playoffs. Pick off to first base. Bonar will not make that mistake again. But if they can win out through the entire playoff, it will not be during week 1. It will be during week 2.
Brett Bonar's parents watching from Kansas. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss there by Kosh. He's down 1-2. Brett Bonar's parents watching from Kansas just put in the chat. We could see from Kansas that one out. Pitch grounded over the Kosh. 6-4-3 double play ends the third. Unfortunately, that ball was hit just a bit too hard on this turf surface. Thought off the bat it would slow up, but used to that tall grass at Scott Carpenter Park. So that leaves one runner on third. That's Brett Erickson. Bonar out at second on the double play by Kosh. We head to the top of the fourth. 5-1. Collegians do plate one and chip into the deficit.
Number 3. Oh, okay. Good. I thought it was. You kind of tell it. Yeah. You guys live here? They are. No, we're from Dillon. Yes. Oh, okay. Good.
It's in more capacity. Like 2 rounds of games.
Moving off the top of the fourth inning for the Colorado Black Bears. First baseman, number 33.
Back with Patrick Lyons, Jake Shapiro, Bresner Mendoza back on for his fourth inning of work, 8-9-1. Little Brett Erickson tracking back, losing it in the sky a little bit, but then regaining back over it over his shoulder for out number 1. Really tough play by Brett, considering the sky to pick up the ball. In fact, Brett Erickson fought it all off, made the play.
And there you see Erickson's confidence, because Altman was coming in on that and had a real easy play for the most part, had to go a long way, but Erickson just confident after those 2 nice plays in the top of the second inning, and calls off the right fielder from Fort Hays State.
Scott struck out last time, second at bat here. First pitch was a ball, second pitch a fastball, 2-seamer on the outer half. Scott swings and misses there. Collegians down 5-1 in the top of the fourth inning, added 1 run, their first of the game there in the bottom of the third. Had an opportunity to maybe plate more, but ended in a double play. The curveball misses away from Bresner Mendoza, as that curveball again has turned more horizontal than vertical. But Patrick, we talked about it off the top of the broadcast, the game last week against the Black Bears. A lot of double plays for the Collegians in that game, and we're seeing one there that really hurt them. That was the only situation there that wouldn't have plated a run, with the runners on first and third and 1 out. 2-1 pitch misses in the dirt. It's 3-1.
The Collegians were able to turn 3 double plays, and the Black Bears themselves were able to turn 2 in very crucial and costly situation on base by the Collegians in that game, and any one of them could have easily come around, tied the game, and extended the matchup.
3-1 pitch smashed into right field. 1 hops into Marcus Altman glove. Unfortunately, we're not playing by the rules of 1890s baseball, where a 1-hop catch is not a catch. So in somebody, nope, just a pinch runner. But that is a 1-out single there for the Black Bears. And a lot more yelling from the Black Bears side again, and don't know what quite about. It's just a courtesy runner. But Scott's on with a 1-out single.
And number 9 wasn't even on their roster, given to us by manager Howard Karsh. He will, of course, be a courtesy runner for the catcher Josiah Scott.
Don't want to turn up the field mics too high or we might catch something the way this one's going, Patrick.
Now I'm seeing that the leadoff hitter, Evan Maker, is not actually number 7. Plate umpire Cameron's going to go do it. Talk to his new closest friend, Howard Karsh, and say, hey, how you doing, bud?
Sure, he's not going to do him any favors, and as you know, turning in an incorrect course of a game, and we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, we do not have another number 9.
Mitch Sloan's number 9, and Black Bears earlier on this year has put up some good performances.
Number 9.
I believe he is an outfielder. We've seen him play and play some nice solid defense for his brother Nick Sloan,
who was a very good pitcher for this Black Bears team. We actually saw him deal twice, and in both outings, Nick Sloan was very good against the Collegians. Wind starting to pick up here, blowing straight out to center field as the big American flag down the first base line is telling us. First pitch here to Maker. Fastball right back up the middle. Line drive gets down in front of Nitze. One hops into his glove, and it's another single of similar variety as 2 men are on with 1 out, and that's when the damage started last inning, all with 1 out.
Second straight single by Maker. This time straightening out just over the shortstop Kosh's head, out of his reach. And now with runners on first and second, may see some more stirring in that Collegians bullpen.
Evan not making too many outs today, that's for sure. 2 for 3 with 2 laced singles. Walsh steps up a single or a walk and a strikeout. First pitch into left field, sky high. Brady Mitchell should be able to get this one. Does glove it shoulder length high and out number 2, top of the 4th. And the way the ball's being hit, even on that fly ball, connected really hard with the bat there. So you might want to see Eddie Toledo start to get some stirring more aggressively in the bullpen.
Lot of fast movement offered to one of these Black Bears before the game. He said that the home run that was hit on Friday night against the Pirates. I'm not sure if you can make out these houses on the camera, but one of them nearly broke a window.
Corner, that home run actually came from Henry on the on-deck circle right now with 2 outs, as Resner Mendoza will try to avoid him dealing against the second baseman Warner. Rather see him with nobody on than somebody on. That's what we've learned in this game.
Warner did strike out in his first at-bat and had the Black Bears.
Clausen was getting warm in the bullpen with S.J. Mousseau. Comes back in the dugout now. Bresner Mendoza with a pickoff attempt to second, to the wrong side of the bag at second base, or else maybe a shot. Kosh with a good play to just save the ball from going into center field.
And we know Kosh has the ability to pick off guys over at second base and when working with his starting pitcher. Typically, we've seen that work in a nice play the Fort Hays State boys have between Kosh and Cruz.
A couple Ks there getting together to make some plays. Pitch to the plate, and it is fouled away towards the Collegians dugout, 0-2 with 2 outs. So big pitch here for a strikeout since the since the start of the third.
Here we go, 1-4.
He's got 5 on the night. Bresner Mendoza working out of the stretch. Gets a sign. Comes set. Checks the runner at second. 0-2. Grounded right back up the middle. Tough play for Addison Kosh. Charging in across his body. Makes it. Out number 3 in the 4th. Collegians finally retire the Black Runs to 1.
For the Colorado Black Bears in the top of the 4th inning. No runs scored on 2 hits. There were no errors. 2 runners left. At the home half of the 4th inning for the Boulder Collegians. Center fielder, number 4, Nico Nitze.
It's not working very well, though.
First pitch of the inning fouled back by Nico Nitze, the Collegian center fielder. Popped out in his first time around. And Patrick Nitze has had a pretty good summer coming from
as a quiet leader, Then as a more vocal one,
Shaw, that pitch misses. It's 2-2. As he said, 2-2 pitch. Nitzy goes down for the first out of the fourth.
we've seen Nincy. Here's a little bit wide. Harder to pick the ball up out of the lefty Shaw on the outside portion of the plate. Caught him looking.
Mitchell batting .352 with an on-base of .440 this summer. Needs to get it going for the Collegians here in the fourth. Feels like they need a run. An inning is almost the recipe for success the rest of the way. In this 9-inning fair, they trail 5-1. 7 hits for the Black Bears, 3 for the Collegians. Sun setting here in Parker. 1-1. Right back up the middle. Second baseman Brandon Warner will see it on one hop and see it over to first for out number 2.
Good at-bats here by the Collegians, but unfortunately they've been unable to hit them where they ain't.
And Mark
Goulart crack at it against Andrew Shaw, who's got 4 strikeouts against 1 walk so far here. Bottom of the fourth, 5-1, Black Bears.
Shaw's 1-0, two-seam fastball, gets the outside part of the plate for strike number 1 against Mark Goulart. 1-1 in the dirt. Doesn't matter much, though, because nobody's on base. Collegians trailing the Black Bears 5-1. Bottom of the fourth. Nobody on. Shaw, the starter, 2-1 pitch, and fastball carries into the inner side of
the deck.
3-1 to Goulart. Right down the middle of the plate, but right back up the middle. Tough play for the shortstop, Drew Duncan, across his body. In time! Charged in on the grass, threw across his body with a smoker of an arm, and that is out number 3 of the 4th inning. We head to the top of the 5th. Collegians trail 5-1.
In the bottom of the fourth for the Collegians, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left after 4 complete. Black Bears on top, 5-1. Headed to the top of the 5th. Houseman, Craig, and Lynch coming to bat.
Going out. Me and a bunch of my friends. Or, I mean, I got invited. I don't really. I think Dev might come.
And we don't have a catch. Otherwise, pick it up, boys. Let's go. Yeah, Gooley.
Start it up, Henry.
There you go. Let's go, Nathaniel.
Guys, go 2-5.
Hitting out the top half of the 5th for the Colorado Black Bears. Designated hitter number 25.
DH Henry Houseman leads off against the Collegians here for the Black Bears. He is 2 for 2 with a single as well as a 2-run home run that helped give the Black Bears their 5-1 lead. And it's an easy, no doubt, line drive home run for Houseman, his 2nd of the ball game.
Right over the field, and anything but fine for the Collegians there. Houseman's 3rd hit of the day. 3rd
Oh, Henry!
The number 25, Henry Houseman. Black Bears
Did not look or even sound like a ball that was going to get out, but with left center field being so shallow, in fact, if we pull out, take anything away from Houseman, he's got a lot of power. That would have been a base hit in any ballpark, but fortunately in this case it was a home run.
Bresner Mendoza down behind 2-0, facing Thomas Craig, the center fielder. Had a feeling that Houseman was going to do something there, Patrick. Glad you got that was your first home run call, wasn't it? Oh, no, you had one with Dave Neal earlier this year.
Couldn't remember, don't know.
I had a feeling. I was like, maybe we'll give this one to Patrick. Normally we're having right now, but 2-1 the count. Bresner Mendoza curveball foul walk in the game, stranded on third last time.
And the impressive thing about these 2 home runs by Houseman is that Bresner Mendoza gets his ball up there, and to be able to pull that ball and launch it. Kudos. Round of applause for the DH Houseman.
3-2. That pitch misses. It's a walk, and Bresner Mendoza in some trouble. Eddie Toledo looks like he's going to go and get him. Tough bit. Toledo appears to be taking the ball here and will be headed for a pitching change. We'll be right back here from Parker, Colorado. Patrick Lyons, Jake Shabiro, Collegians trailing the Black Bears 6-1 in the top of the 5th.
After that first meeting that we had, I totally forgot about any semblance of, oh, check out my verbiage. That ball just got an eviction notice because it is. I should finally do that. I should break out and call it. Oh, you said no? Oh, it's break out the crayons and color that ball gone.
Oh my god.
It's so bad.
That's
It's the worst home run call ever. You know how I saw that? Someone tweeted that at Drew Goodman one day, and all of the Rockies Twitter people started posting. They're like, this is the worst home run call ever.
That is hilarious.
You have to adjust the camera here. I'll be some Nick Clausen. Good. Ball song to doll song. Play ball. It's gonna be the last time you ever put
Your attention, please. Now pitching for the ball. Now pitching.
Nick Clausen to the mound in the second round of the RMBL playoffs. First-seeded Black Bear. He crossed on a home run this inning by Henry, finishing Nathaniel Fielder Lynch.
Mendoza went 4+ innings, gave up 8 hits. So far has given up 6 runs, all of which were earned, walked 2, and struck out 5.
Popped up, tough play there, and made by a Collegian fan. Fortunately, that doesn't count as an out.
That's probably the first foul ball we've seen caught all year in Fenn. That's right.
Do you know who that is over there? I don't know who that is.
I do. Fielders, perhaps.
0-2 pitch. Clausen delivers a curveball for strike 3 on Lynch. Confused Lynch there. It was a curveball that just dropped straight down in the zone, and that's what Clausen does. He's got that great plane on his curve.
And you see Eddie Toledo, much like Thursday, starting with a right-hander, going with a left-hander in the pen. We see that again tonight, and now these Black Bears hitters have to completely readjust their game plan with a lefty on the mound like Clausen.
Duncan with 2 ground outs, 1 to second base and 1 to third base. Curveball catches the outer half for a strike there from Nick Clausen. He's out of Temple College, born in Austin, Texas, raised in Austin, Texas. Big fan of everything Austin, including the University of Texas at Austin. Pickoff attempt to first, and Clausen likes to do that. The slowest pickoff attempt ever. The man is C pickoff move generally. That's Nick Clausen's, no doubt. That pitch misses. It's 1-1 from Clausen.
Duncan is 0 for 2 here. He's grounded out to the second baseman. Definite potential for
one. The pitch is for bases, drops down. Tough play for Brady Mitchell in the corner. The runner from first, Thomas Craig rounding third. And the throw in from Addison Kosh, not in time. Advancing on the throw to third is Duncan. Scored an RBI double with an advance to third on the throw. Nice defense there by the Collegians, but ultimately better base running by the Black Bears.
Great secondary lead by Thomas Craig was the difference there, allowing himself to score all the way from first base on that 7th run up on the board for the Black Bears.
Craig scores all the way from first, and it's 7-1. First pitch there to Cade Grossman is a ball. And I do want to note that there is a run rule in this tournament, 10 after 7, and the Collegians now have put themselves up against that as well.
Should also be noted that that run does get counted against Nathaniel Bresner Mendoza as Craig reached base during their plate appearance against one another.
That closes the book on him. How many earned runs did you say, Patrick? So 7 runs.
7 runs, all 7 were earned.
Thank you. 1-1-1 out to Clausen. Suicide squeeze attempt and bunt down the first base line. Gioso can't get the tag in there. Tough play. Gioso wasn't sure whether to cover the bag or to make the tag. Didn't do either. It's an RBI single on a bunt for the first baseman, Cade Grossman, plating the 8th run of the night.
Well, that's the veteran managing right there of Howard Karsh, who's celebrating with his team over there on third base, really catching the Collegians on their heels. Caught me by surprise a little bit, too, as we hadn't seen a lot of squeeze bunts here. In fact, that's our first one that we've seen so far this summer in 40-plus games of work.
Scott, the catcher, up. First pitch of ball. Also don't see many squeeze off as not thought of as fair play across the game. No, from Clausen. Checks the runner at does not know if he's going to continue his collegiate baseball career. Behind 3-seam fastball down the heart makes the count. It was the last time they took the field and played a competitive game. I certainly do. It didn't end well, and you hope it does end well for Nick Clausen there, who can strike out.
The nice piece about that, if that is true, is that he will have this video to watch for the rest of his day.
As long as the broadcast doesn't keep screwing up. Ooh, what a play. Bryce Bullock charging in at third. Made it look like Nolan Arenado a bit, his favorite player. Caught it at his chest off the hop and fired across his body to first for out number 2 in the 5th.
Great defensive play by Bryce Bullock coming in on that play. Needed a real good throw, too, to get out the speedy runner, Scott. Catcher, but as you might say, Jake, sneaky speed.
And Scott, who's out, moved up Grossman to second, so another runner in scoring position with the score at 8-1. Smashed up the middle, sky high. Brett Erickson's going to settle under it and make the final out of the 5th inning, but not before 3 runs were added on again by the Black Bears. They scored 2 in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd, and now 3 in the 5th. Collegians trail 8-1 as we head to the home half.
For the Colorado Black Bears in the 5th, they had 3 runs on 3 hits. There were no errors, 1 runner left. 8-1. Black Bears headed to the home half of the 5th inning. For the Collegians, scheduled Gioso, Altman, and Erickson.
Oh, it looks like we're going to come back. Can't talk about You know who that is? I don't know. No, he was in Paris, apparently. What?
I thought that was
He was dead? No, I was...
Leading out the home half of the 5th inning for the Collegians. First baseman, number 8, Gabe Gioso.
Right-handed hitting first baseman Gabe Gioso strides in. Collegians down 7 in the bottom of the 5th in the second round of the RMBL playoffs. Andrew Shaw, the starter for the Black Bears, not the Chicago Blackhawk and Montreal Canadian, left-hander dealing. That pitch missed a curveball and a fast Gioso, who struck out and is only at bat looking and left 2 runners. That 2-0 pitch is spun the other way, foul by Gioso as a turning point in this game, with the score being tight at 2-0 at that point in the 2nd inning. 2 runners on, and Mark Goulart flew out to right field, then Gabe Gioso struck out looking on a 3-2 pitch. 2-1 the count. Pitch to Gioso. Fastball misses high, and ahead he is 3-1. Marcus Altman, who singled last time and scored.
And outside those 2 runners left, just 1 of the 3rd inning. So base runners have really come at a premium here for the Collegians. And like they did back in the third inning, they're just going to have to chip away one at-bat at a time.
3-2 pitch fastball. Gioso swings and misses there. Out number 1 in the 5th. Back for the top of the 6th. First pitch curveball from Clausen misses away against the
Here we go, 5.
second hole hitting and third baseman Zach Walsh. That pitch a strike. It's 1-1.
In our previous broadcast, we've seen Zach Walsh play second base, but Garrett Skillings, of course, appears to be no longer with the team. He was their 3-hole hitter throughout much of the season. We believe that's where Cade Grossman came in onto the roster.
Pitch misses. It's 3-1 now from Bresner Mendoza. There was a walk last inning, came around to score. In fact, the 2 of the 3 walks in this game have come around to score, but Clausen issues another one to lead off here in the 6th. And the score being 8-1, there's a huge risk here of the 10 after 7 rule, the run rule here in this tournament.
Collegians looking a bit listless at the plate. They're about to get up for their 3rd time through the order against Andrew Shaw, but we've not seen a base hit since way back in the 3rd inning. So Shaw definitely getting his stuff together. And
Second hitter of the inning, Brandon Warner, after the Collegians went down in order in the bottom half of the 5th. This is the top of the 6th. They trail 8-1.
And not to mention, but on deck is He Who Shall Not Be Named.
He Who Shall Not Be Named, and a couple more H's in that name as well. 2-0 Clausen's behind with Walsh at first. You know he'll be swinging for the fences with 2 home runs already. Rare that you can have a 3 home run game. Clausen fastball.
Tom Riddle, a.k.a. Lord Houseman. It's that his opposing team, but looks like he's just got one.
2-1. Two-seam fastball fouled back. It's 2-2. You're one of those guys, Patrick, that forces nicknames upon people. It's a rare breed of people. It actually might be one of my pet peeves in the world. But you're one of those people.
And guess what? I think your pet peeve is the fact that I haven't given you one yet. I think that's
I have a nickname. Everyone calls me by it, too.
Here we go.
Everyone else. So
yeah, you do.
Tooter Walsh back in there safely.
I'll have one for you. Don't
Called
worry.
me Hollywood at summer camp when I was a kid because I always wore sunglasses. Pretty good. I was embarrassed about the fact that I sneezed every time I was outside in the sun. Weird things people get embarrassed about. 2-2 with no outs. Curveball in on the hands. Foul towards the Collegians dugout.
And that was the last day Jake Shapiro ever got embarrassed. Hence your pink cleats.
Haven't been embarrassed since, bud.
That's right. Good old Shap. At Shapalicious on Twitter for coverage of the Colorado Rockies.
And at Patrick D. Lyons on Twitter for soon coverage of the Colorado Rockies. 2-2. Two-seam fastball into center field. Nitze going back. Sees it to the track. It is out of here. Get out the crayons and color it gone. It's another home run. 10-1 the lead for the Black Bears. Off the bat of Brandon Warner, his first hit of the day, and picks up RBI number 2 and 3 out of sacrifice earlier in the ball game. Walsh comes around to score from first on the shot to dead center field.
1-2-5. One more time, baby.
Brings up Henry Hausman, 10-1 the score, so 1 run here and maybe a solo blast by Hausman, who already has 2 shots on the day, puts run rule. Things not going right for the Collegians tonight. That's certainly an understatement. 1-0 from Clausen. Inside, it's 2-0.
Hope Nitze's okay out there in center field. I think he just ran out of room and tried to pull up a little short, and I guess there actually is dirt around the warning track, so kind of just lost his footing a little bit there with the first real piece of material on this baseball field in the warning track.
He was wearing Vans when the Collegians played here earlier this year because didn't have the plastics. Clausen curveball misses. It's 3-1, and can expect the from Henry Hausman.
He gonna be
back up the middle, and that's another hit for Henry Hausman. a 4-hit day, and we're only in the 6th inning.
Well, to steal a line, ooh, Henry.
Good candy bar. Patrick will be covering the Colorado Rockies soon for BSN Denver. Hopefully has been covering their minor league system, but Patrick will join me adorning our media outfits on Tuesday in the Colorado Rockies press box as they face the reigning world champion Houston Astros. Pitch is a strike as Craig swings on a pitch in the dirt. He's reached base all 3 times, 2 walks and a home run.
And if you follow us on Twitter, you might see a photograph of the 2 of us wearing our Sunday's best at Coors Field.
I will not be. I am getting a haircut that day, though, so maybe I will.
If you wear your pink cleats, maybe that'll really set off the day.
Let's go around
I brought some things there that have been very questionable for a media member to bring, I'll put it that way. Brought in baseball bats, baseball gloves, just like being at the baseball park. 1-1 from Clausen. Smash down the third base side. Bullock picks it up over to second for 1. Erickson on to first. In time. Double play. Third.
Gotta say, the best defensive play we've seen from the Bulls really couldn't come at a better time. Game might be a little bit out of reach here, but still wanting to get out of this inning without that 11th run scored, and Bryce at the hot corner.
He's from Las Vegas, Nevada, and called Blackjack. 1-0. Swinging and missing is the right fielder, Austin Lynch. John Kea came in, disrupted the broadcast, the Collegian reliever earlier in the game. Said, this guy looks like you. He's your brother. Patrick and I both said that doesn't help us at all.
He tried to get our attention for some reason. We thought maybe he had some updates about his girlfriend and stuff that was going down on that, but apparently it was not. Must got to say hi to her out there. Corvette Gal 2611 on our YouTube channel, not sure, but she does not miss a single Boulder Collegians game. We know that.
They're issued by Clausen with 2 outs. His second of the inning. That brings up the shortstop, Drew Duncan, who hit an RBI double last time.
Drew Duncan.
Clausen with the runner on first, 9-run ball game. Curveball, strike 1. It's right down the middle. Not used to not calling strikes sometimes, Patrick. I've umped over 1,000 games. Fastball there, called or for a strike there. Would have been a called strike. Duncan swings and misses. Close to the home plate, you just sometimes just start calling it, or what I would have called instead of what my partner had called.
How do you know you've called 1,000 games?
Because North Boulder Little League tracks the amount of games that I've worked for them, and then the tournament games that I've done, they also track. So you can just add them up, and then I know I've done about somewhere in around the ballpark of 100 high school games.
Jeez.
So over the last 8 years, probably just bordering towards 1,000. Yep.
I'm probably, I don't even know, 125, 150? It's probably more than that.
All this is going to get out of play for Gabe Gioso. Not at making the catch because Gioso just couldn't make it, and an E3 on that foul ball definitely was a chance for Gioso. The wind blew it back in. The wind's blowing straight out to center at about 20 miles an hour, and that's where it brought it.
If you don't believe that was an error, go back and watch Tuesday's All-Star game because that exact same play happened to first baseman for the Cincinnati Reds, Joey Votto.
This pitch is out of play, and of course we know what happened after that.
Gene Segura, right? He hit that 3-run home run, I think.
Josh Hader, yeah.
That's right.
And, well, and the other thing about umping as many games as I have is, you know, you work a couple tournaments where they've got 5 or 6 games in a day. They add up, and this shot right back up the middle. Nitzy's going to have to see it backwards, and we'll settle under. Black Bears and 1 as we head to the bottom of the 6th.
I was close. I said Travis. If I remembered, you mean
The Black Bears in the top of the 6th inning. They had 2 runs on 2 hits, so no errors, 1 runner left. Black Bears up 10-1 through 5.5. Headed to the home half of the 6th inning. Scheduled for the Collegians, Bullock, Boulder, and Cash.
there's a chance. The rare error and then put it long.
I like it. You're not going to do it anymore? What do you think? Do you like it?
I like you. Bryce bomb coming up. Bryce bomb. That's true. How about a BB for BB? Let's go, Didi. Let's get it going. You're not there yet? It's on, but you're all filled out.
And he did. He did it like
Just show your eye socket. That's all. It shows your socket.
Being out the bottom of the 6th inning for the Boulder Collegians. 24.
Bryce Bullock to the plate, struck out twice tonight, facing Andrew Shaw once more. The left-hander kicks and deals a fastball for a ball outside. Sun now behind the mountains here in Parker. The pinks and oranges starting to flicker out with perhaps the Collegians' chances of coming back in this game. They're behind 10-1. Bullock swings and misses there. It's 1-1. Want to give a shout out to Bryce's mom, who's made it all the way up from Las Vegas to hang out with us and watch her son play some college baseball here. Wood bat summer college baseball. Of course, in the spring they play with metal bats, so a lot of people don't actually know that. 1-1 curveball slapped foul. I was actually asked the other day, why don't major leaguers use metal bats? And my response was, death. Currently have 1-2, and Bullock strikes out for the third time. He's got the hat trick. He goes down swinging.
And it should also be pointed out that the bats that the college players use, and you'll know more of the lingo of this, but the BB core number is in such a way so that the ball does not react too volatile off of the bat, because we had seen some deaths around little leagues and in college ball, and they actually tweaked the metal bat so that the ball didn't fly off so violently.
And they shrunk the sweet spot too, and a big part of this can actually be seen during the College World Series because they moved fields. They built that beautiful new field, TD Ameritrade, in downtown Omaha, when the old bats were still being used the last few years of those old bats, and then they switched over to the new bats, and nobody can hit home runs there. Because stopped playing when they switched to BB core bats because I wasn't strong enough to hit anymore. And that was a lot of kids, I think, and it is good, and it teaches you to swing. Curveball's in there. It's 1-2 against Bonar, and what I will say is that the BB core bats are a lot more similar to wood, so it's easier to make the transition, but definitely you don't get that same pop that you had when you were a little leaguer if you're watching this now and you're over 25.
Bonar did not like the call on that curveball.
1-2 curveball, this shot the other way. Going back is Evan Maker. He has some room at the track and will make the catch for the second out of the 6th.
And even with wood bats, you see the power where you're able to get exit velocity off these bats of over 100 miles an hour, and even a pitcher that is able to field his position and come down in a fielding position himself really has no time to react. And that's why I think, it's coming, and guys don't like adopting new things and looking different, but you are going to see some of that protective headgear for pitchers to come in, at least protecting the temples of the hat. There's been a couple prototypes that have been put out there, but unfortunately the major leaguers haven't been adopting it because of how it looks, and because of that, you haven't seen it at the college level or high school or even little league level.
Pitch is called a strike. Late call on Addison, not Tango, and Cash. It's pretty good. Took me all year to think of it, though, so I don't know how good that could have been. Shaw, 0-1. Fouled back, and Collegians can go down in order here again, and going out without a whimper. That's been 9 up, 9 down for Shaw here. He's working on his 10th in a row, perhaps. He's 0-2 on the Collegian shortstop, Addison Kosh. Swinging and missing is Kosh, and that's the third out of the 6th. We head to the top of the 7th. Black Bears need 1 run, then 3 outs, and they would run rule the Collegians. If not, maybe the Collegians can score 9 and come back, but they've only got 9 outs left to play with. He's Patrick Lyons. I'm Jake Shapiro. Second round of RMBL action continues here when we come back. S.J. Mousseau to the mound.
Top of the 7th coming at you. Scheduled for the Black Bears, Grossman.
Why don't we just end it right now?
S.J. Mousseau on the hill for the Boulder Collegians as Nick Clausen is done after 2 innings in relief. S.J.'s got 8, 9, and 1 to start the 7th in this 10-1 game.
In his 2 innings of work, Nick Clausen surrendered 3 runs, all of which were earned.
He came in who threw 4+ and allowed 7. Mousseau out of Fairview High School and soon to be Western Nebraska. First pitch, a fastball that's inside. I want to say hello to SJ because I know he's going to be watching the replay of this. He is a diligent watcher of his own film, which is a great trait to have in a young ball player. Curveball there, maybe a bit too high, but deemed a strike.
What's up, SJ? How you doing, bud? He's one of the guys that you got to put at the top of the list of hardest working players on this collegiate team.
1-1 is fouled away to the right side. You're not in this group chat, the players only group chat, which somehow I found my way into. But SJ actually snapped the team at about 1:45. So SJ's been at the park for 8-9 hours now. Curveball, this shot into left field. Going back as Brady Mitchell reaches up and ball falls out of his glove. Score it in E7. Would have been a tough play for Brady Mitchell to make, but he did get his glove on it, and unfortunately it snow-coned out of it. Official score here had it as a hit, but I think me and Patrick both in agreement that that's an error.
Mitchell was well positioned in left field, very back. We've talked about how deep the outfielders, particularly in left field, have been playing with the short porch out in left and right field.
Pitch is fouled away.
So Mitchell didn't really have to go a long way. It was hit a long way, and it seemed as if it would get down for a double, but Mitchell unable to come down with the ball.
Runner on first, 0-1 the count. Mousseau looks in, his curveball, it's way inside and high. Pat's just afterwards, he knows he made a mistake there. And you know it was an error because he was actually turned away and looked towards his dugout. That's why he's only on first on a ball that he'd been running hard. He probably could have gotten at least to second on. Pitch fouled away. It's 1-2.
You mentioned the first baseman, and as I look over, Gabe Gioso has either put his glove on another mitt, or that means Dawson Pomeroy has now entered the ball game.
That is Dawson Pomeroy out there. We'll get some changes for you in a second. Looks like we've got a change at second base as well.
Number 78, Jeremy Katz. Katz.
Curveball there, in on the hands, and hit by Patrick, and it looks like Danny David Linehan's in right as well.
Correct. In fact, we should probably check to make sure that, in fact, it is Brady Mitchell who did err on that play.
Bryce Bullock still at third, Addison Kosh at short, Jeremy Katz, the assistant coach for this team, playing second base now, Dawson Pomeroy at first, Danny David Linehan in right, and Nico Nincy still in center. Catcher behind the plate, still Mark Goulart as well. SJ throws here with runners on first and second, no outs. First pitch is a strike against Maker, who has 2 singles on the night.
And you probably assume that where those guys are playing, that's where they will fit in at the lineup, but not necessarily so we'll wait to tell you what spots they are in the lineup when we get to the bottom of the 7th.
Curveball there and mishandled by Goulart. It's another pass ball.
Hey, go get him now. Come on, 8.
It means 2. It means a win. Let's go.
We would have to play the bottom half of this 7th inning if there was a run rule. Collegians are the home team, and it's 10 after 7, so Collegians do get a chance to bat no matter what. They're playing their infield back, so they would be surrendering this 10th run. Mousseau, 1-1 count, delivers to Maker. Fastball high and fouled down the first base line, out of play.
And for what it's worth, should there be a 10-run rule, increased rest for the Collegians, as they would have to get up at the, I believe it's butt crack of dawn tomorrow morning to play this game at 8:30 a.m.
Or not wake up at all in my case and just stay awake. 1-2 from Mousseau, right back up the middle, and Katz is going to hold, and it's first and third with no outs here on the single by Maker that scores. Grossman.
Katz could not stay on his feet, but he still has 8 lives remaining in this game, defensively speaking.
Now batting third baseman, number 5, Zach Walsh.
Cat got your tongue there, Jake? You're down 2-0 here in this
Just call it. Take it. Lined into left. That's in front of Brady Mitchell. That gets down. 1 run scores. It's another RBI single, and the Black Bears are officially on beat 'em down watch here in Parker, Colorado. It's 12-1.
That'll be Walsh's first hit of the ball game, as he did walk in 2 previous plate appearances. Evan Maker's single.
I'm running out of ink here, Patrick. That's not a good sign. Mousseau comes set. 12-1 the score. 15 hits for the Black Bears, 3 for the Collegians. First pitch fastball there, a strike against Brandon Warner, who had a 2-run home run last time, and that was in the 6th, just an inning ago. No out, and S.J. Mousseau in relief, his 3rd pitcher of the night for head coach Eddie Toledo. Mousseau comes set. Colorado native then checks the runner, delivers, and it's fouled away. Colorado native in more ways than one. He's been a native of this land, at least in his blood, for a long, long time. SJ of Native American heritage, and very proud of that.
You might be forgetting his most Colorado thing about him, his long flowing locks.
I miss mine. 0-2, curveball misses away.
We should try to get our pictures of us in long hair and put them side by side with the SJ to let them know that we used to be brothers in the long hair game.
You know it's bad when Matt Jensen has turned off his phone. My text messages to him are now just play at third. He's going to hop on the bag for 1 and doesn't have enough time to go to first after the bobble. I believe that ball hit him in a spot that is not favorable to men, but he was still able to make the play at third. Bryce is a warrior and fought through it.
A lot of these guys we've heard, and I was very surprised to learn in the beginning part of the season, do not wear cups. Now that's a lot of confidence that you might have in your defensive abilities, but when you're playing on
confidence, something else that has to do with that area. You know?
Is there an acronym for it, perhaps?
I don't want to say it. Bullock's still being tended to over there by the coach of the Black Bears, and tended to is way of putting it. Bryce actually may be hurter than that. Danny David Linehan's coming in from right. John Kay is actually putting on a jersey. Bryce looks like he's going to come out of this game. He might have done something way worse than what we were assuming, which is about a 4-minute injury for men. But it looks like Bryce did something else to an area in that region. Don't know what. Try to get word for you. You know his father's watching Craig. Mother is here. Bryce is coming out of the game, and John Kay is now in right. Linehan entered in right just minutes ago, and now he's already moving to third, a position he started off the season playing a lot of.
Well, he's able to walk off on his own volition, which is always nice to see. He wasn't slamming his hand down on the ground and writhing around in pain. It's just a very, very dull ache for Bullock, and we'll try to get an update on his injury when we get a chance. But that does mean Linehan will now move over to third base, and John Kay will now take a spot in right field. I actually joked with Danny David before the game if he was going to try to play all 9 positions in this ball game, and little did I know he would already have 2 checked off within his first inning of play.
When the Collegians come to bat.
12-1 the score. S.J. Mousseau still on the mound. He's the third reliever of the night. 2 runs have plated already in this inning for the Black Bears. At the plate is Henry Hausman, and he watches a ball there. He's hit 2 home runs on the day, has also hit 2 singles. He's 4 for 4. Black Bears 2 runs in the second, 3 in the third, 3 in the fifth, 2 in the sixth, and now 2 here in the 7th. Lone run for the Collegians came in the third. Mousseau comes set, 1-0 pitch. It's low. It was a fastball that missed, and he wants no part of Hausman here.
Going to have to be careful. I like his first pitch. I like his first thought of throwing inside on Hausman just to let him know he was going to command the inner portion of the plate.
Mousseau comes set, checks the runner at second. those don't really matter now. 2-0 fastball, and Hausman swinging for the fences on a pitch that was above his head.
Hellman almost fell off on that. Nearly corkscrewed him into the ground, a la Bugs Bunny.
Musso gets his sign from Goulart. In the set position, his 2-1. Curveball right back at Hausman's head, and that one wasn't on purpose. SJ upset with himself. It was a curveball, so chalk that up to a slippage of the fingers there. 3-1 runners on first and second. 4 for 4 Henry Hausman is with 2 home runs. 1 out, 3-1 pitch. Curveball never got there.
Nice at bat, too.
That'll load the bases for Thomas Craig, the man with the game-winning hit thus far. His 2-run home run in the top of the second inning has all but led the way here for the Black Bears in their 12-1 lead right now in the top of the 7th.
Musso on the mound and dealing behind the runner, and with a 11-run game there, it doesn't really matter. The Black Bears will play it cool and hold at their bases. You know, Musso is now working out of the windup. With the bases loaded, Collegians not holding on any of the runners. 1-1 the count, 1 out. Right center field, Katz going back. He does not have enough room. Coming in is John Kea. He makes the catch. Too shallow to tag, and that's out number 1 on the fly out to John Kea in right.
Kea absolutely uncorked one from right field. That would have been a no doubt easy out, even if Pomeroy hadn't cut the ball off. Good throw.
He is a pitcher from Hawaii Hilo, so it makes sense that he's got that great velocity behind his throws.
I know somebody that's going to enjoy watching that highlight later this evening.
First pitch, a strike. 0-1, it's right back up the middle, pop-up. No infield fly rule here because there's 2 outs, and Addison Kosh able to come down with the catch. So ultimately 2 runs score here in the 7th. Bases get left loaded. Collegians go to the bottom of the 7th, needing at least 2 to extend this game. Patrick Lyons, Jake Shapiro will bring you home from Parker, Colorado.
Bears in the top of the 7th inning. They had 2 more runs on 3 hits. There were no errors and 3 runners left. 12-run Black Bears after 6 1/2 innings of play. As we head to the home half of the 7th for the Collegians.
Yeah. PA by play. Hampson doubled already. Hampson is up. Hampson is up. I'm 3 for 3 coming out of the break. The Rockies win, I'll be 4 for 4. What's that? That guy. Oh, he doubled in the second at bat. Nice. RBI double, too. Awesome game. How did Freeland pitch? He added the game. 5 innings, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 hits. That wasn't good. No, it wasn't good. Godly pretty much the exact same numbers. 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Did you hear all of this? But they're already on their 4th reliever. The D-backs are already on their 4th guy out of the 10. They've got no bother.
Jake Shapiro, Patrick Lyons bringing you home from Parker, Colorado. Collegians trailing 12-1 in the bottom of the 7th. At risk of being run ruled, it's 10 after 7 here in the RMBL playoffs. This is round 2 with a loss, which it looks like the Collegians are headed for. They will play at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Do we have a team that they're going to play against, Patrick? Do we know?
That should be the Laramie Colts, I believe.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Because
game before us.
They also got 10-run ruled.
Yeah, by the Colorado Sox, who have been sneaky good this year. Pitch is in the dirt. It's 2-0. Looking for a complete game here is Andrew Shaw. He's been very good for the Colorado Black Bears.
Actually, I don't know if that's necessarily true that we would be playing the team that lost the last game.
You've said that about everything with the tournament. Yes, we're going to do that. Nope, don't know if that's necessarily true about 30 seconds later. This tournament is confusing. Don't mean to put it on you like that.
As you mentioned, it's all about consistency, right?
2-1 from Shaw, and that's deemed a strike at the knees.
Game 9, loser plays the Denver Cougars.
Shaw into the wind, his 2-2 against Nitze, and that's fouled away. And
so whoever made the schedule said that the 7 p.m. night game loser has to play at 8:30 a.m. But the early game, which is at 3:30, they only have to play at noon, which makes little to no sense.
Shaw into the wind, his 2-2. Curveball almost bites Nitze in the face. It'll be a full count. Collegians only have scratched across 3 hits, no errors for the Black Bears either, and only 1 walk from Shaw, so not many base runners, and he's set down 10 in a row. 3-2 from him, fastball grounded foul.
The game does end up being a victory tomorrow against the Cougars. Stick around because we're going to have another game for you at 7 p.m. What are we going to do in between those games?
Plans, too. Oh, man. 2 on Nitze. Strikeout number 10 for Andrew Shaw. He's set down 11 straight. Black Bears just 2 outs away from a 10-run rule in the second round of the RMBL playoffs. Single for Brady Mitchell, and finally a Collegian base runner aboard for the first time since the 3rd inning.
Which was also Brady Mitchell. And we had talked to him before the game about what his approach was going to be. Try to go middle away, and he's doing anything but that. And saw a good pitch, and he's not going to go down without a fight. And I don't think the rest of these Collegians are looking to do that either. Let's see what Mark Goulart can do. He flew out to the right fielder and ground out to the shortstop in his last at-bat in the 4th inning. He was not very happy with himself in that ground out. We saw him grunt rather loudly as he ran down the first base line. Shaw at the belt, fires a bit high. Home plate umpire Cameron thought about popping it in for a strike, but
being from Shaw. He's got 10 strikeouts, has only allowed 4 hits, just 1 there. This past inning has been cruising since the 3rd inning. Has walked 1 as well, but it's been magnificent in backing this Black Bears offense. They're defensive, but they're also offensive.
Well, when you see a Black Bear, you should not run from it. I know that. Stand your ground, and we'll see if the Collegians can do exactly that. Stand their ground.
Pitch misses. It's 2-1 on the Collegian catcher, Mark Goulart.
Little noise in the Black Bears bullpen as one of their right-handers is warming up.
2-1. Could say the Black Bears are outside ruffling through the dumpster. Don't mean to. Yeah, you know what? You can't say that because I feel bad now for the Black Bears reliever.
Honey, that joke was poo.
That was good.
Thank you.
Chinese leader would not like that. 2-2 with 1 out to Goulart. Shaw delivers fastball, and it's smoked past the shortstop. This is going to roll all the way to the wall. Mitchell's rounding towards 3rd. He's going to head towards home. Goulart stops at 2nd. The throw to the plate never was thrown, and it's a run for the Collegians. Their first since the 3rd, and it was an absolute smoke shot of a double. Hopped right in front of the shortstop of the Black Bears, Drew Duncan, but on this turf.
Looked like a simple line drive over the shortstop's head, but velocity, the strong pack pushes across the 2nd run of the ball game and gives the Collegians a chance to stay alive here against these Black Bears.
Runner on 2nd is Goulart. Dawson Pomeroy, who came into the game defensively last half inning, watches a first pitch strike. Switch hitter batting right here against the left-handed pitcher, Dawson Pomeroy. He's also a great pitch defensively. 3rd. 2nd pitch to the other field here at Double Angel Park.
Pomeroy's been suffering from a couple nagging injuries, doing a nice job making himself available for the game here late. Kirk Gibson-esque performance, but he's not going to come up with an opportunity.
Just missed. Shaw thought he had strikeout 11 as he started walking off the mound. Goulart took off for a fake steal there as well. And you mentioned, the injury to Dawson Pomeroy. It's also a knee injury, and Kurt Gibson-esque as well. 1-2. Curveball, this one crushed into left field. Going back is Evan Maker, and he catches it at the warning track. Thought that had a shot off the bat, but the wind has completely died down here. And
very well. Things not really going the Collegians' way. You wouldn't know by the score, it being 12-2, but much closer ball game than that in the early parts of the game. Just 2 fastballs by Brisner Mendoza left over the plate. And somehow here we are, down 10 runs.
Well, Danny David Linehan strides in, and he's the last hope as of now for the Collegians.
Come on, everyone, we got this.
Pitch is in the dirt from Shaw. Linehan needs to plate the man from second. Mark Goulart, the catcher for the Collegians, in order to avoid the 10-run rule. For now, on deck is Jeremy Katz, who came in defensively for Brett Erickson at second base.
Here we go, Joe!
Shaw comes set. Haven't seen him work much out of the stretch tonight. That pitch to fastball, that's just low.
Come on now, Andrew. Take care of this batter now. Finish it.
Shaw comes set. His 2-0 pitch. Shaw looking in and breathing hard. Gets a sign from Josiah Scott. Comes. Fastball misses away.
Interesting scenario here in the playoffs where if Josiah Scott can make 2 more good pitches or maybe 1 more right where he wants it, he can get himself a complete game. If not, this game's going to go on a little bit longer and he could be done for the night.
3-1 fastball called a strike. Linehan thought he had a walk, and now Collegians down to their final strike. This is the second round of the playoffs. Double elimination tournament. We'll see at 8:30 tomorrow if this pitch is a strike. Andrew Shaw looking for a complete game. 5-hitter, 2-run performance in a win against the Boulder Collegians. Goulart takes off the pitch, and it's a ball. Fastball missed away. Linehan knew it all the way. Thought we might have the early strike call just because of the situation with the score in the game. Stolen base, or defensive indifference for Mark Goulart. It's a defensive indifference. I'm choking over myself, and it looks like the Black Bears are going to pull Andrew Shaw from this one. Just 1 out shy of the complete game.
Did not realize how prophetic my words would have been. Prophetic. Words of a prophet. Familiar with this term, Jake? Not pathetic. Prophetic.
Let's go, Cats. Let's go, baby.
Has the starting pitcher left the field yet?
No, it doesn't appear that we're going to get a pitching change after all that. The manager came out to talk to the umpire first, so I thought, of course, we're going to get a pitching change.
Roger Cruz now coaching third base for the Boulder Collegians, and now he's been substituted yet again for Eddie Toledo.
John Kea on deck for the Collegians. He came in for Bryce Bullock and went over to right field after the injury. Is very much down on position players who've left due to injury and some other circumstances. First and third, 2 outs. Shaw, the starter, still out there in his 7th inning of work. First pitch to the Fairview High School graduate of 2013. Jeremy Katz is a ball in the dirt. Jeremy and I both played against each other in high school. Both 2013 grads, grew up in Boulder together. Of course, he was much better at baseball than I was. 1-0. Fastball crushed into left field. That's going to get down in front of Maker. That makes it a no more run rule game for the Collegians. Linehan stops at third, and Katz strides into second with a double, and the Collegians are alive, at least for the moment. You hear some tapping in the background, and that's the Collegians' heartbeat. Still there.
Base hit and an RBI for Jeremy Katz.
No doubt double for Katz, who makes that defensive indifference seem not terribly important, as even on a single Goulart was showing these late inning substitutes. We've really been give the last 6 innings, but they are not going to go down without a fight.
The reason for these guys taking good at-bats here is these are guys that normally don't maybe get these at-bats, so they're making sure they end up in a good outcome. They're not taking them for granted. First pitch was a strike against John Kea.
And this is actually the first time that the Collegians have been able to score more than 2 runs against the Collegians.
Against the Black Bears. They've never scored a run against them.
That's correct.
2-0, 2-1 the count. Shaw. 2 outs, runners on second and third. On deck, Brett Bonar. Shaw comes set, looks in, delivers. Fastball high on John Kea. Count is now full, I believe. I believe the scoreboard is off.
The public announcer, the man on the PA system, is trying to do a little play-by-play in between batters as well.
The payoff pitch, it misses wide, and appears I was off. It's now 3-2.
We'll have to see what his highlight reel looks like if we do have an opening next year for the Boulder Collegians YouTube broadcast
Payoff
team.
pitch, and Kea swings and misses. Strikeout number 11 for Andrew Shaw, who's through 7. Collegians trail by 9, 12-3. Not getting run ruled yet. S.J. Mousseau back out to the mound for the top of the 8th when we come back.
Good job, 3.
For the Boulder Collegians in the home half of the 7th inning, they pick up 2 runs on 3 hits. There were no errors, 2 runners left after 7 complete innings of play. Black Bears 12, Collegians 3.
You're on 2. You're on 2. Yep. Thank you. Like Archie Bradley.
Leading out to the top of the 8th for the Colorado Black Bears, the shortstop, number 1, Drew Duncan.
Drew Duncan will lead it off. He hit himself a double in the 5th inning, otherwise has been quiet today. He's 1 for 4. Mousseau rocks and fires. Ground ball to the third baseman, Linehan, who fires over to first baseman, Dawson Pomeroy, for the first out. The Collegians were up against it last inning as they were down 12-1, and if they were not able to push across 2 runs, they would have been 10-run ruled. As it were, the new replacements were able to come up in the clutch. Brady Mitchell singled. Mark Goulart doubled to drive in that run. Danny David Linehan walked, and Jeremy Katz, the Jeremy Katz, doubled with 2 outs to keep this game alive. And now S.J. Mousseau is making quick work of Cade Grossman. 0-2 count. Just misses on the curveball. Could not get the large first baseman to chase. Grossman drills it to the second baseman, Katz, who tosses the first base for the second out. And now S.J. Mousseau is feeling himself something good.
Now batting for the Black Bears, the catcher, number 21.
12-3 here.
So he ran across the plate. I'm like, Brett, why are you talking to the catcher like that? He's like, oh, he's going to be my teammate. He's like, okay. So Brett and him will be fighting for playing time, Brett and Bonar and Josiah Scott.
Don't think it'll be too much of a fight, but, you know, we wish all the players here in RMBL best of luck in their fall and upcoming spring 2019 season. Hope to see a lot of them come back, too, and play a second summer. This ball drilled out into right field, and John Kea comes on and is able to convert for the 3rd out of the inning. So S.J. Mousseau, after a rough first inning of work in the 7th, surrendering 2 runs, is much better here. 4 up to the bottom of the 8th. We've got Bonar, Kosh, and Nincy when we return.
Hey man, I don't get an opportunity to be doing the PXP, so that's why I was doing it. So that's why I'm gonna milk it. Do you want this? Yeah. Sure.
know, man.
Gannon Rice Week. How are you going to? Oh,
It's a restaurant, so.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for the Colorado Black Bears, number 18, Gannon Ricewig. Ricewig now pitching.
No, I don't know. It's kind of like day, summertime-ish.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
It's like a dress.
Like, that's my thing. Like, I only work undergrad at night. Like, I even know. That's right. I'm out there today still. Like, I came here.
Brett Bonar leads off the bottom of the 8th inning, but we do have a new pitcher. Andrew Shaw's day is done. Now in the game is number 18, Gannon Ricewig, the right-hander for the Black Bears. First pitch is ball 1 to Brett Bonar. Drilled out of play. In 7 innings of work, the lefty Andrew Shaw gave up 7 hits, surrendered 3 runs, all of which were earned, walked just 1 Collegian, and struck out 11. 1-1 count to Bonar. It is 12-3 in the bottom of the 8th. Bonar drills this one to right field, just off the top of the wall. He misses, and he's going to have to hustle to get himself a double, and he's going to do so easily as he stands. Bonar's got to feel.
I was watching Get Smart the other night, and I'll tell you this, Brett Bonar missed that by that much. It was very close, about 5 feet away from being a home run, and the 10-foot fence out there in right field, it's 312 down the line, was hit off the chain link fence.
Now it looks like Brandon Werner wants to talk with Brett Bonar. He's the most popular guy in the field right now, and he's not even behind the plate saying hi to all of them. In steps Addison Kosh, who is 1 for 3 on the day, and looks like Josiah Scott's going to call timeout to try to get on the same page. And obviously, that has a lot to do with making sure their signs are just so. Bonar, being a catcher himself, can very easily pick up what the signs are between the 2 battery mates. But they're now on the same page. Kosh steps back in, and we're ready for more baseball. Fastball just a bit inside on Kosh. Kosh singled in the 2nd inning. Was able to steal third base, but unfortunately was left stranded there in the 2nd.
1-0 pitch almost caught him there. Fastball that was a 2 away. It was a ball.
Drilled back up the middle. And the second baseman, Warner, makes a great play and fires over to first. Excellent awareness by Warner. It seemed like that ball had rocketed past Ricewig. Got caught up a little bit with some backspin on it. Never gave up on the play and was able to make the bottom of the
and towed it from his glove back up to his chest, bobbled it, but stuck with it, then threw over to first on a play that took him straight up the middle from his normal second base spot.
Nincy swinging on the first pitch. Was not out of play at all. The third baseman looks like got crossed up with the catcher Josiah Scott. From our seats here behind home plate, it never really looked like it was going to go out of play, but sort of a misread by the dugout of the Black Bears. Nincy's going to get himself another opportunity. The 0-1 just outside.
12-3 the score. Collegians with their 3 runs on 7 hits. The Black Bears with 12 runs on 16 hits. They did make a defensive error, as did the Collegians.
Nice fastball pushed across the plate on a swinging strike by Nincy. Bonar can score here. It's almost the exact opposite of an insurance run. It's more of a run to keep this game playing. And really, regardless of what happens, that ball out of play. Regardless of what happens here in the bottom of the 8th, we will have to play that 9th inning. S.J. Mousseau probably will be called on to finish what he started back in the 7th inning when he came in relief of Clausen, and before him, Bresner Mendoza.
Frustrated as he walks back to the dugout. That last time was a big run for the Collegians.
On the inside, fastball from Ricewig. That one hurt.
And that one kicked off the screen so hard that it actually hit Brady again in the foot as he ran up the first base line. Thankfully, that time it was only traveling about 5 miles an hour. But that one hurt for sure.
Mitchell is awarded first base.
And Mark Goulart strides to the plate. You heard Brett Bonar from third base yell, "Do something cool, dude." And that's where they're at.
Goulart did have an RBI last night, doubled off starting pitcher Andrew Shaw. The first pitch from Ricewig just misses on the inside. Good location. Runners on the corners, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Another opportunity for the Collegians to rally and chip away at this lead.
And a strike is called, much to the dismay of the entire Collegian dugout as well as Mark Goulart.
Not as bad of a strike call as the one we saw in Korea. I'm sure you probably saw those viral videos going around. The guy.
It wasn't called a strike was the issue.
That's true.
But you know what? As an umpire, you know that every ump has a blind spot when guys swing their bats, and I understand that umpire's position, but the crew member has to pick that up. And
the Bears have another opportunity to extend their lead, and S.J. Mousseau will try to close the door on this ball game in order to keep it somewhat close and respectable. Collegians down 12-3 going into the 9th.
I had no idea what I was saying.
Scheduled for the day is Walsh, Warner, and Houseman.
Someone's gonna. You know, it's just an inning where it's like there's nothing to say. And then as soon as you try to say it,
down, we go to the top half.
Yeah, I try to say something when there's nothing to say. Hollywood.
Jake Shapiro, 12-3 the score. Collegians trailing the Colorado Black, the second round of the RMBL playoffs. It's 12 runs on 4 of the hits and no errors. S.J. Mousseau back out for his 3rd inning of relief. He's the 3rd reliever of the game as well for the Collegians. First pitch, a strike there, or a fastball for a ball, against Zach Walsh. Gotten to the point in the game where it's gotten a bit silly. And got guys, fortunately for them, substitutes have done a better job maybe than the starters today, which sometimes happens. That pitch misses again. It's 3-0.
Used to tell me. My father's Cuevas.
Striding in is Brandon Warner. He's made a couple nice plays out at second base, had a 2-run home run. 1 for 4 on the day, RBI. It's Jay Collegian dugout. Strike zone, which was small to begin with, the strike zone has shrunk even more. So we've gone into the later stages of this blowout game for the Black Bears. That's called a strike. Back pick to first, and Goulart's throw was there, but not a great swipe tag from the inexperienced first baseman Dawson Pomeroy. Did an admirable job, but maybe not as quick as another player may have done it.
And with a left-handed Gioso, obviously that tag would have been a little bit more efficient as it would have come into his mitt. Obviously, anytime you have a right-handed.
1-1 into right center field. Going back is John Kea. So is Nico Nitze. It is one-hopping the fence. Off the game day Saints wall. Corner coming to the plate, Walls from first, and it's an RBI double, which puts the score at 13-3.
RBI double from Warner is his 4th ribby of the day. He, of course, homered in the 6th inning, a 2-run shot to center field.
And that brings up Henry Hausman, the DH, who's reached base all 5 times, has scored 3 runs. Second time facing Mousseau. Last time he did. Henry Hausman in this ball game. Curveball, this hit high and foul.
Hausman has not homered since the 5th inning. So
all the way back. It's been a while since he homered.
Like Chris Berman used to say, I think Barry Sanders was the guy he first said this about, which was, you can't stop him, you can only hope to contain him.
Mousseau's 1-1. Curveball hung up there and called a strike. I believe Hausman will probably want that check swing back because that was in the happy zone. Mousseau ahead. 1-2 to Haus. Strike 3. 5 times on base in a game, but anyways, he's frustrated. He goes back to the dugout. First out here in the top of the 9th as his team's ahead 13-3.
And first strikeout for S.J. Mousseau. And a nice spot here with a runner on second baseman. That's going to do a lot for the young man's confidence. He's definitely one where if you give him an ounce, he will take it a mile. If you give him an inch, he'll take it a mile as far as his confidence goes. So he's going to try to use that to build upon this appearance of the next batter, Thomas Craig.
Mound visit here. Warner out at second. 1 out, 1-0 the count to Thomas Craig, who hit a 2-run home run in the 3rd inning. Put the Black Bears on top, and they haven't looked back since. 1-0. Curveball. Ooh. Don't know if I agree with that call, but a beauty of a curve from S.J. Mousseau. Started at the chest, ended up in the strike zone, but not according to the umpire.
Interesting movement by Mousseau. Definitely caught the home plate umpire, Cameron, off guard.
Curveball there, called a strike that time, and didn't matter because Craig swung through it.
Got to remember, these umpires are human beings, too. It's late in the game. It's a blowout. They thought they were going to go home about 45 minutes ago, and yet we're still here.
2-1 pitch, sky high, right side. Dawson Pomeroy comes down with it.
So long game. Umpires focus, maybe wavering just a little bit there.
And we get a pinch hitter here, Patrick.
That would be number 20, Lomar Rodriguez. Lomar Rodriguez.
Number 20.
Number 20 on your scorecard. Number 1 in your hearts.
Not number 1 in my heart. Someone else is number 1 in my heart, Patrick.
Who do you think that is?
S.J. Mousseau with a curveball, and Rodriguez nails this. This is up over the scoreboard, gone. No doubt about it for Lomar Rodriguez, who puts it at 15-3 here in the 9th. Hope you kept those crayons out because you're going to need to color something else gone.
Nice job, 2-0.
Pinch hit, 2-run home run here in the 9th. Drives in Warner from second and puts this thoroughly out of reach.
There's simply nothing Howard Karsh can do wrong right now. He's pushing all the right buttons. He's got all the correct clientele on the field and at the plate. 15-3, Black Bears. And going into that at bat, it actually was the
into center field off the bat of Duncan, and to the warning track. Nitze's going to come down with it for the 3rd out of the inning, but not before the Black Bears tack on 2. Collegians are going to need 12 to tie it, 13 to win it in the 9th. Unfortunately, they only have 3 outs to play because that's how baseball works. Patrick Lyons, Jake Shapiro will be bringing you home for real this time.
The Black Bears in the top of the 9th inning. They had 3 runs on 2 hits. There were no errors and nobody left. After 8 1/2 innings of play, Black Bears 15, Boulder Collegians 3. Headed into the home half of the 9th for the Collegians. Scheduled are Pomeroy, Lenahan, and Katz.
What? Get the... Oh yeah, I saw that they had scored one in the 8th.
He didn't start tonight, did he?
No, I don't think so.
That was a pinch hit home run.
Yeah? Tapia had a pinch hit
home run.
Yeah.
Sorry, don't look right. Yeah, still more from
Leading out tonight for the Boulder Collegians.
Dawson Pomeroy up to the bat, and we'll be saying that again probably in 11 hours as the Collegians are 3 outs away from playing in the losers bracket of this double elimination tournament. That game, first pitch, will be at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Are we going to be here?
0-1 count to Pomeroy.
That was a fastball. It was in there for a strike. Black Bears just 3 outs away here from advancing, and I believe they get tomorrow off and go straight to the what? They would play again on tomorrow or Sunday, Pat?
Their next, if they
or
won,
Sunday or Monday.
If they won, their next game would be at 7:00, same night.
Oh, right, I knew that coming in. So, and the Collegians would play again tomorrow if they win tomorrow morning. So Black Bears would play at 3:30. Collegians would play at 7 tomorrow if they do win at 8:30. So we'll see if the Collegians can get some momentum going into tomorrow. 1-2 pitch, strike 3. Pomeroy swings through it. Out number 1 in the 9th, 2 outs away. A lot different than last night when the Collegians walked it off in the 10th on a 4-3 win, or 5-4 win rather, off the bat of Addison Kosh. No momentum coming into tomorrow's game after some momentum coming into today. Maybe as it goes, momentum's just your next day's starting pitcher, and unfortunately Bresner Mendoza was figured out pretty early by the Black Bears. Grounded over to the shortstop. Easy play for Drew Duncan, tough hop, but he'll make it over to first, and that's out number 2. Score at 6-3 in the book from Danny David Linehan.
Well, Kotz is... keep wanting to say Kotz, and I am saying Kotz, but it's Katz. Kosh and Katz.
Yes.
Oh, man, I got a case of the old Shapiro tongue. But Jeremy Katz here has an opportunity to extend the game, and he did exactly that in his first at-bat when he doubled to score Mark Goulart, putting the Collegians down only 9 runs.
Something's going on in the Collegians' dugout. Someone has fallen over. I think someone just got hit with a bat, perhaps. But someone's on the ground in the Collegians' dugout.
There's a bat over by third base as well. Who has a number 2?
Well, I don't want to speculate this, Patrick.
Yeah.
Just know somebody's down and don't know how it was hit, but being told that it may have been a bat that caught someone in the Collegians' dugout. A lot of pain there, and it's going to hold us up for a bit. Umpires want to play, but I don't know if he can right now. It's Marcus Altman that's down. He's okay. He's now back up on his knees. Lined over to first, and that's the final out of the game. Collegians drop this one 15-3 against the Black Bears. Didn't update the score bug, my bad. Forgot at one point. Anyways, he's Patrick Lyons. I'm Shapiro. Patrick, do you want?
And in the bottom of the second, they had two costly double play with runners on the corners. They were not able to convert, and by that point, the game was out of reach. It was 5-1. 3 in the 5th, 2 6th, 2 in the 7th. Not get it done, but it was against the best team all season long, and if anyone's going to do it to the Collegians, it's going to be this team. So not sure where the silver lining is. Maybe they were able to score 3 runs for the first time as opposed to his, but they're going to have to rest very quickly in order to try and win the game tomorrow.
Back in 11 out, Jake Shapiro signing off from Parker, Colorado. Collegians dropped this second round contest 15-3 in an ugly game all around for the Boulder Collegians. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Then at 7 p.m., the winner of